In the height of the Cold War, the United States faced a critical challenge: how to gather intelligence on the Soviet Union's rapidly growing military power. Satellites weren't fully operational yet, so the solution was to fly above enemy territory, higher than anyone ever had before. Enter the U-2 spy plane, a sleek, ultralight aircraft designed by Lockheed Skunk Works under engineer Kelly Johnson. With its massive 80-foot wingspan and glider-like build, the U-2 could soar at 70,000 feet, far beyond the reach of radar and surface-to-air missiles, or so they thought. Pilots were trained to fly into Soviet airspace and capture detailed photographs of missile silos, nuclear facilities, and military bases, secrets hidden behind the Iron Curtain. On May 1, 1960, CIA pilot Francis Gary Powers took off from Pakistan for a mission deep into Soviet territory. His objective was to photograph key military installations. But the Soviets were waiting, and near Sverdlovsk, they launched a powerful SA-2 surface-to-air missile. The blast rocked the U-2, snapping its wings mid-flight. Gary Powers survived the explosion and parachuted down into Soviet farmland. Dazed and injured, he was captured by local authorities. On him, he carried a poison pin, concealed in a hollow silver dollar, meant for suicide in case of capture, but Powers chose not to use it. He was interrogated for weeks and used as a propaganda tool. Meanwhile, the U.S. government, unaware he had survived, issued a false statement claiming a weather research aircraft had gone off course. But then Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev dropped a bombshell. Not only had the plane been recovered, so had the pilot, and he had confessed. The U.S. lie crumbled, and the fallout was massive. A long-planned summit between President Eisenhower and Khrushchev collapsed, and hopes for easing Cold War tensions evaporated. The world saw just how close diplomacy sat to disaster. Powers was put on trial for espionage and sentenced to 10 years. Though treated relatively well, he became a Cold War pawn caught between two superpowers. Then in 1962 came the exchange. On a foggy morning on Berlin's Glienicke Bridge, later known as the Bridge of Spies, Powers was traded for captured Soviet agent Rudolf Abel. Silently, each man walked across the bridge to their home side. The Cold War had its prisoner swap. Despite the incident, the U-2 program didn't stop. In fact, it thrived, leading to even faster aircraft like the SR-71 Blackbird and eventually spy satellites that made aerial espionage safer and invisible. At 70,000 feet, the air is so thin that U-2 pilots wore pressurized suits nearly identical to astronauts. One tear in the suit could mean unconsciousness or death. The U-2 incident wasn't just a plane crash. It was a global embarrassment, a diplomatic disaster, and a chilling reminder of how fragile peace really was. One plane, one missile, and the Cold War nearly spiraled out of control. Want more Cold War secrets? Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and share this with anyone who's into Cold War history.